Canada has just made a seismic shift in its energy export strategy, breaking from decades of near-total reliance on the U.S. market. Prime Minister Mark Carney's government announced the move as a direct response to growing trade unpredictability. This is a bold declaration of economic independence, aiming to secure Canada's future in a world where old alliances can't be counted on. The announcement sent shockwaves through Washington. President Trump's reaction was swift and furious, calling the move a betrayal of North American cooperation. The White House has vowed not to stand by, setting the stage for a major confrontation between two of the world's closest allies. At the heart of the issue, Canada's plan to diversify energy exports, opening new pipelines and shipping routes to Asia and Europe. This reduces our vulnerability to U.S. political and economic pressure, and gives Canadian producers access to global markets. The timing is critical, coming amid escalating global trade tensions and aggressive U.S. tariff policies. Canada's pivot is a calculated response to a pattern of American trade aggression. The government has decided that waiting and hoping is no longer an option. We must actively seek new partnerships to safeguard our economy. This is a defining moment for the U.S.-Canada relationship. The old rules no longer apply. Canada is taking control of its economic destiny. President Trump's response was immediate, a sweeping 35% tariff on most Canadian goods, effective August 1st. This is a massive escalation, targeting the entire Canadian economy rather than specific sectors. The message is clear: America intends to play hardball. The Trump administration has used tariffs before, but this is the most punitive yet. The White House justifies the move by citing the trade deficit and Canada's new energy strategy, claiming it threatens U.S. energy security. The tariff is positioned as a defensive measure, but it's likely to harden Canada's resolve. This action challenges the very foundation of the USMCA, the trade deal meant to ensure stability. Businesses on both sides of the border now face immense uncertainty. The predictable flow of goods is at risk, threatening the North American trade framework. The tariff is a direct challenge to the rules-based order we've built together. It's a dangerous game with high stakes. Canada is being pushed to the brink, but retreat is not an option. The U.S. is using its market power as leverage, but the outcome is far from certain. This is a defining test for both nations. The world is watching. The next moves will shape the future of North American trade. Canada's pivot is more than a reaction. It's a proactive strategy for the future. Prime Minister Carney is making diversification a top priority, seeking stronger ties with Europe and Asia. The goal: reduce dependence on the U.S. and build a more resilient export profile. Expanding trade agreements with the EU and UK, and targeting fast-growing Asia-Pacific markets is central to this plan. New pipelines, expanded ports, and improved infrastructure are critical investments. These projects will create jobs and support long-term prosperity. The U.S. will remain an important partner, but Canada is rebalancing the relationship. This isn't about abandoning the U.S., it's about building a wider network of partners. By diversifying, Canada becomes stronger and more secure. This strategy is about economic sovereignty and national security. It's a nation-building project for the 21st century. Canada is determined to lead, not follow. The future depends on it. The Canada-US trade relationship is one of the world's most successful, built on trust and shared prosperity. For over a century, goods have flowed freely across the world's longest undefended border. Disputes have arisen: softwood lumber, dairy, but were always resolved through dialogue and rules. The Trump administration's approach marks a sharp break from this tradition. Broad, punitive tariffs and confrontational rhetoric have replaced negotiation and predictability. This unpredictability has injected mistrust into a once stable partnership. Canada's decision to diversify is not taken lightly. The old stability can no longer be assumed. We must adapt to a new reality where our largest trading partner is also our most unpredictable. The history of partnership makes this shift painful but necessary. Canada is choosing pragmatism over nostalgia. The stakes are too high for complacency. The future of North American trade hangs in the balance. The 35% tariff will hit both economies hard. Canadian exporters will struggle to access the U.S. market, threatening jobs in manufacturing, agriculture, and energy. The government is preparing support for affected industries, but the challenge is immense. American consumers will see higher prices on everything from food to car parts. U.S. businesses reliant on Canadian materials will face rising costs and disrupted supply chains. The integrated nature of North American manufacturing means pain will be shared. Financial markets remain cautious, but uncertainty is already damaging investment and planning. If tariffs take effect, a sharper market correction could follow. A trade war is a lose-lose proposition. There are no winners when close partners fight. Jobs and prosperity are at risk on both sides of the border. The economic pain will be real and widespread. This is a self-inflicted wound on the North American economy. Political rhetoric can't mask the reality. The stakes are enormous. The time for solutions is now. The Canada dispute is part of a broader Trump trade doctrine: bilateral deals, tariffs, and America first. The administration has imposed or threatened tariffs on over 20 countries, including allies. The goal: rebalance trade and reduce the U.S. deficit, using market power as leverage. This approach has created a confrontational, unpredictable global trading environment. Many countries have retaliated, escalating disputes and disrupting supply chains. Critics say this undermines the rules-based system the U.S. helped build. Power and threats are replacing predictability and cooperation. Canada's experience is a case study in this new era. Even close partners are not exempt from pressure. No relationship is too sacred to be used as leverage. The lesson for the world trade with the U.S. now comes with new risks. This is a global challenge, not just a North American one. The world is watching and adapting. The trade dispute is straining the U.S.-Canada relationship beyond economics. It's a diplomatic crisis. Decades of cooperation on security, environment, and development are at risk. Rhetoric has sharpened. Trust between leaders is eroding. Prime Minister Carney vows Canada won't be bullied. President Trump accuses Canada of unfairness. Diplomats now manage conflict instead of building bridges. The goodwill built over decades is being depleted. This could hinder cooperation on critical issues like intelligence and border management. A weakened partnership is not in America's strategic interest. Rebuilding trust will take time and a return to respect and predictability. The current conflict is a true test of the alliance. Cooler heads must prevail. The world is less safe when close allies are at odds. The diplomatic fallout could last for years. The world is watching the US-Canada conflict as a test of international alliances. If America treats its closest partner this way, what does it mean for others? Countries in Europe, Asia, and Latin America are rethinking their reliance on the US. Many are accelerating diversification and forming new trade blocs. The global economy is fragmenting, reversing decades of globalization. As the US turns inward, other powers may fill the leadership vacuum. The Western alliance and liberal order are weakened by these disputes. Canada's pivot is part of a worldwide realignment. Nations everywhere are seeking more reliable partners. The US-Canada dispute is a microcosm of a global trend. The world is adapting to a new reality. The outcome here will send a powerful signal. The stakes go far beyond a single tariff. We've entered a new era. Volatility has replaced predictability in global trade. For Canada, this is a profound challenge and an opportunity. Our energy pivot and diversification are just the beginning. We must be nimble, strategic, and resilient in a turbulent world. Economic policy is now foreign policy. Trade is about sovereignty and security. Canada must strengthen alliances with countries that value a rules-based order. The US relationship remains central, but we must manage it with clear eyes. Push back against unfairness, but keep the door open for dialogue. Find areas for cooperation, even amid disagreement. This requires sophisticated, patient diplomacy. There will be costs and challenges, but Canada is resilient. We've faced adversity before and emerged stronger. By building a diverse network of partners, we're shaping our own destiny. This is not just crisis management, it's proactive nation building. Canada is determined to secure a prosperous future.